And we're going to learn tonight what is bow. Actually, our English translation translated as you read this part of the scripture as go, as in go to Pharaoh. But as we sang it correctly, Aksameya, Yomar na bo. Those who are thirsty, come. So that word is come. And this is our Torah portion for this week. It's not that anybody comes up with the schedule of the Torah portion reading. This has been established for centuries. So this is not something we pick up just along the line in our current days, but this has been ongoing, the schedules of the readings of the Haftarah and the Torah portions, even including in the time of Yeshua HaMessiah. Because he came to the synagogue as it was his habit of doing, and he was to read that portion of the Torah, Haftarah portion, which is in Isaiah, proclaiming the year of the Lord. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me to proclaim the good news. So the schedule is set since centuries and centuries ago. So this is not something we say, oh, we'll adjust, but we'll have to stay on course. Because I do believe that Yeshua has a message for us, especially in the last days, because he wants us to stay on course. And he is bringing us to his instructions, especially in the last days. We know that he is a God. Yeshua is a God who reveals the end from the beginning. And the beginning of our faith starts here. The foundation of everything is in the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, whom God gave to Moses and Moses wrote. And this is one of the most preserved part of the scriptures. Even the way the Hebrew characters is written, line upon line, spaces and paragraphs and so on. So tonight we're going to learn what bow is. And this is Exodus chapter 10 verse 1. It says, and Yahweh said to Moshe, go into Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart, the hearts of his servants, so that I show you these signs of mine before him. You see, God wanted to show his signs. It's the sign of Yahweh. He wants to show it before this God of Egypt, Pharaoh. So bow is spelled Bet Aleph. It really means come. So Yahweh did not just say to Moshe, Moshe, go. Go na. Tapos na. Instruction na. Go to Pharaoh. And he said, I have hardened his heart. So go to Pharaoh because this Pharaoh is a hard heart Pharaoh. So, but God did not say, go Moshe. He said, come. I will come with you. Yeshua does not send us off to do things for his kingdom and just tells us to go. He comes with us. So this is a truth in the recurring in scriptures, that he comes with us. Because it's his glory that he wants to show. It's his signs that he wants to show. So tonight we're going to look at the 3 last plagues of Egypt. So we're going to learn about the plagues of the locust, the plagues of darkness, and the plague of the firstborn. So we're going to look at what it means then, what God was doing at that time to Pharaoh, the civilization of that time, through the plagues, and what it means for us today and what is going on today in terms of where we are and what God is doing in our midst, and what are the plagues that we are seeing, and what are the things that God is posing for us to do as giving us special instructions what to do in the last days. So he gave these 3 last plagues. And the 8th plague is the plague of locust. In chapter 10, verse 3, it says, and Moshe and Aaron came to Pharaoh and said to him, thus said Yahweh, Elohim of the Hebrews, till when shall you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go so that they serve me. Or else, if you refuse to let my people go, see, tomorrow I am bringing locusts within your borders, and they shall cover the surface of the land so that no one is able to see the land. And they shall eat the rest of what has escaped, which remains to you from the hail, the previous plagues. Remember, they have just gone through 7 plagues. And now here comes another one, the 8th plague. And devastation was upon the land already. And here comes another one. So they shall eat every tree which grows up for you out of the field. And they shall fill your houses, and the houses of all your servants, and the houses of all Mitzrites, which neither your fathers nor your fathers' fathers have seen, since the day that they were on the earth to this day. And the plague of locusts came upon Egypt. And finally Pharaoh says, Pharaoh then called Moshe and Aaron in haste and said, I have sinned against Yahweh your God, Elohim, and against you. And now please forgive my sin only this once, and pray to Yahweh your Elohim that he should only turn away this death from me. I think this is the 8th time we heard Pharaoh do this. But you know, when he heard about the plague of the locust, he did not repent immediately because he wanted to see what the locust was about to do. Because Pharaoh was not ignorant or not knowing about the locust, because he knows, because he also serves a God in Egypt whose main weapon is even to create this plague of locusts also upon the land. So let's take a little look at what is going on in Egypt. Locust is arbe or aleph, resh, beit, hey. Swarming is the word also is in that meaning. It also means like a floodgate has been opened, and just like heaven opens, and that is when it rains so hard. And that word was an attack on Egypt's god, which is the god Anubis, the god of the fields, especially cemeteries. This is the god who watches over the cemeteries. He is the god who embalms so that their bodies last forever. And he watches over the graves. And he has got special power. And watch out when this guy opens his mouth. So, where is this Anubis today? Has God finished him off in Egypt? Where do we find this god of the cemetery today? Well, I didn't have to look very hard, thanks to the last days when people go here and there because knowledge will increase. All we need to do is Google, or maybe come and sit down with your teenager son or a teenage child that loves to play games in their computer, because it's all over the place. It's depicted as that picture. So this is a modern picture of Anubis, and it's found in modern day. It's in your homes. Another picture of him. And they even trade cards with his name, with his picture. And he's got special powers that gives him some special prices when you trade cards. I'll trade one Anubis for 2 of your Aprilis, and so on and so forth. This is how they do the trading now in those games that they play. So Abinu, and he's also depicted this way as many of the animes and anime pictures that we see today. So this Anubis has not been gone. It still comes up. Every civilization, this god still comes up. Then I went through some of the websites these people play games with, and I came about this website. Maybe you should check it out, Smite. They have this Wikipedia of all these gods. So Smite, Wikipedia, Anubis, and it's depicted as a jackal, and he holds ultimate judgment over the dead. He measures every heart against the weight of the truth. So he's kind of a god that knows your heart. And he is the god of darkness, and he's got special powers. He preserves the faithful, the one who serves him, through the embalming that he has this secret of doing. And he is from the underworld. And look at this, one of his first ability, according to the Wikipedia of games, his first ability is the plague of locusts. So he is capable of sending out the locust also to devour his enemies. And here comes God challenging the God of Egypt. And the equivalent of the Aramaic word arbe or the Aramaic Targum is gova. The word gova is also found in the book of Revelation. So you see, what was in the beginning is also found in the end. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven into the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of the great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit, and there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth. So apparently we're going to see these things again. Because the locust is going to come upon the earth. And unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. So where's God's people here? Let's take a look. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass in the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God on their foreheads. So apparently there are Christians or born-again believers who love Yeshua, and those who are unbelievers, who hate Yeshua. But that word is related to Geva, which means height, coming down from on high as with judgment. So judgment will come upon us, and we will see the judgment of locusts again, because God is going to challenge the world again against the God of the world. And the people of the world will say, oh, I know your God. I know you, the God of the Hebrew, the God of the Messianic believers, or the God of Nihap. We have the God of the world that can counter also your God, because we have a God too who can do all those plagues. See, this was not unfamiliar to Pharaoh when the plagues of locusts came. That's why he was watching. Okay, let's see who wins. But finally, God wins. That's why he said, oh, forgive me. And now, forgive me. Ask Yahweh to forgive me, Moshe. Then I shall repay you for the years the swarming locust, this is for us, has eaten the young locust and the consuming locust and the gazam knowing locust, my great army which I sent among you. So God will send a mighty army also swarming, because the judgment of the Lord will be carried through also through this plague. The second plague is darkness, which I'll probably dwell a little bit. And kung may seatbelts ang inyong plungkuan, pwede nyo lang ma-fasten. Maybe many of us have gone through this already. The truth has been come to us, but we need to do a little bit more than what we have heard. Okay? So this will cover it when we see the ninth plague of darkness. And verse 20 says, however, Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he did not let the children of Israel go. And Yahweh said to Moshe, stretch out your hand toward the heavens, and let there be darkness over the land of Mitzrayim, even a darkness which is felt. And there was thick darkness in all the land of Mitzrayim for 3 days. They did not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days, while all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. The separation of God's people in the last days. When the plague of darkness comes, yet over at Goshen, where God's people dwell in the land of Egypt, there was light in their homes. The light of Yeshua HaMessiah was with them. So the plague of darkness was felt. It was deep, deep darkness that no one can see each other. Nor you wouldn't want to go anywhere. You wouldn't be able to move. This kind of darkness is talked about through scriptures. We heard about this darkness when Adam fell asleep. When Abraham. And it came to be when the sun was going down and a deep sleep fell upon Abraham, that, a frightening great darkness fell upon him. So when God does something, there's darkness. Even we see this darkness when Moshe was trying to come towards God in the giving of the 10 Commandments. It says, do not fear, for Elohim has come to prove you, in order that his fear be before you, so that you do not sin. So the people stood at the distance, but Moshe drew near the thick darkness where Elohim was. So in between, there's deep, deep darkness. Then that's why many testimonies, I guess, I hear of people when they die and they come back to life, they seem to go through this dark tunnel. And then over to the other side of the tunnel, there seems to be light. And that testimony seems to be consistent amongst the people. And he said to them, let Yahweh be with you as you let your little ones go. This is what Pharaoh said. Sige na lang. But let Yahweh be with you, kabay pa, si God with you, and watch for evil is before your face. Warning. What does that really mean? Well, then he said to them, you better hope Yahweh is with you, because when I let you and your little ones go, beware, because evil, the word evil is ra in Hebrew. When you read that in Hebrew, because ra is in front of your faces. So what did Pharaoh mean ra? Pharaoh knows ra, because he was one of Pharaoh's god. He was a sun god.